Welcome to Obscure Depths. MLB preview, the Oakland Athletics. That's right, folks. It's time for Billy Ball. Are you ready? Billy Ball, here we go. Outfield, nice looking outfield. Ioannis Cespedes in the left, Chris Young, Coco Crisp center, Josh Reddick in right. Lots of power, lots of speed out there. Cespedes, 20 home runs, 16 stolen bases last year. Chris swiped 39 bases. He certainly has a potential to hit the ball out of the ballpark as well. Chris Young had a bit of a down year last year, but he's still a nice veteran bat. And I think if he slides into a DH role a couple times a week, I think he's going to be mighty comfortable. I think it'll enable him to work on his hitting and his timing. I think that's a kind of a good spot for a nice aging veteran like this. And this guy can still run too, but he can also still play the outfield, so it's nice to have that option. Brandon Moss also probably supplementing the outfield along with Seth Smith. Brandon Moss is also slated to be the starter at first base. Moss very quietly hit 20 home runs last year in just 73 games. So, the guy's got nice power. He's a guy that's kind of been around and now finally getting a chance under the Billy Ball system, and he's doing all right. Second base, you're going to look at Scott Sizemore or Jed Lowry. Obviously, Jamil Weeks is there too. It sounds like Weeks is probably going to start the year in the minors after a kind of an abysmal year last year. Lowry's a great kid. He had nice power and hit 16 home runs in 93 games last year. Nice guy that can play second, third, or short. He can even play first if you need him to. So he's a nice guy to have. They just brought him over from Houston, that deal that sent Chris Carter back to Houston. Not too many people heard about this, but they also signed a Japanese import named Hiroki Nakajima during the offseason. 30-year-old shortstop, 5'11", 200 pounds. Nice, solid kid, can run and hit for power. At least he did in Japan. Sometimes, that you just don't know what you're going to get with those Japanese imports, power-wise especially. But and anybody that knows me knows I love a good import. So I get crap for that all the time, but I do love a good import. So it's always exciting to see these guys come to our country and see what they can do. Looking forward to watching him. Third base, they got Josh Donaldson, also Scott Sizemore, Lowry. They could all play there. I think their best option at this point would probably be Lowry at third, Nakajima at short, and Sizemore at second. Obviously, that's going to be Weeks' second base position for years to come, but they probably are best in sending him down at this point. Top of the rotation, we got Brent Anderson. This kid had a nice little resurgence after missing a lot of the year last year. Just a nice quality arm. Jared Parker had a great season for this team last year. I look for him to do a lot of the same. There's some big bats in this division, so he's going to have his struggles, but I think he'll have a decent year. Tommy Malone also had a good year for this team. A.J. Griffin didn't have a whole lot of, only pitched 82 innings, but he had a decent showing too. David Straley and Travis Blackley all got some experience last year, so they certainly have their options there in the rotation. John Jaso and Derek Norris behind the plate. That's kind of a nice little battery. Jaso's a veteran arm, nice reliable guy back there. And then Derek Norris is kind of the young up-and-comer. The kid's got a lot of power, but he's certainly still a little bit raw at this point. Norris can also be a nice supplement at DH if you need to get his bat in there more often. They're also going to roll with Seth Smith and, like I said, Chris Young, and I'm sure Lowry will see some bats at DH as well. Grant Balfour more than likely going to be the closer at the start of the year. I like this kid. I don't know if he's a closer every day. He's just getting up there in age. He's actually the same age as me. We were born on the exact same day, so we are 35. He's just never had a lot of consecutive years where he's been healthy in the majors, and that concerns me a little bit. And when you need a closer to come in there and throw some gas and get the crowd pumped up, I just don't know if he has he has the guts to do that all year long. A couple other nice arms that I like in this pin. Ryan Cook got 14 saves last year in a reserved role. He certainly has some really good numbers. Sean Doolittle, I like what this kid brings to the table. He's a nice strikeout pitcher, 60 Ks in 47 innings last year. Jordan Roberto is another good strikeout pitcher. Pat Neshek is had somewhat of a nice little showing for this team last year in limited time. This is another guy that has not been healthy for 4 or 5 years, but he's got some decent stuff. Jerry Blevins is also another good arm in this pen. So they certainly have some options. They also have Chris Reesop, another veteran arm. So, this team has some options. I am going to pick them third in the NL West just because of those big bats in Los Angeles and in Texas. Billy Ball is always fun team to watch, so I look for them always to be a fun team. I should just mention before I go here, Josh Reddick had just a nice year for this team last year. Hit 30 home runs. The batting average kind of tailed off at the end, but he kind of out of nowhere hit 30 home runs for this team, and he's really emerged as the leader of this team. So he's going to be kind of the player that I think this team should build around. I don't know. He does kind of fit that mold with power, speed. Not a great batting average guy, but that never seems to bother Billy Beane. So he's probably going to hit cleanup, I would say, in this lineup, and Cespedes probably third. So they have a nice little nucleus of players here, and they always, like I said, they always squeeze the best out of what they have. But for some reason, I just think that's only going to be the best is third in the division this year. They might surprise us and nab a wild card spot. I don't think they're going to win the division this year. This has been Obscure Depths, MLB Preview, the Oakland Athletics. I want to send a shout out to my #1 fan, Braves 1025. Thank you for everything you do for me. Have a good day.